This is a glorious, precious morning. So really honoring that we awaken, we're here, and I'm so appreciative of you all being in this space with me today. So thank you, thank you. Just want to take a few moments and just notice your breath, just a noticing practice here this morning as folks are making their way, transitioning, elegantly transitioning, taking your time, honoring your coming or your going, right? Just really honoring our presence, honoring our movement, honoring our breath. So for those of you who it's your second day with me here at the Upswell conference or Upswell gathering, welcome back. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Welcome. I am Felicia Savage Friedman. And welcome to the AntiRacist Raja Yoga session. Get grounded, get centered, get ready for the day. Preparing your mind, soul, emotional, spiritual bodies for all the deliciousness that you will be shared with and you will share today. So today's session is going to be a little bit more interactive. So we'll have you all in breakout groups so that you're able to community build with random folks. In this time of sheltering in place, still really want you to have the sense of community by coming together. So this part of our session in terms of you all spending time with each other, being a little vulnerable, perhaps, will be good. So a little something about me. I have been a Raja Yoga practitioner for over 30 years now. I am a Black woman, cisgender Black woman. I have been practicing Raja Yoga as a holistic way of living. It has informed my raising my children, what kind of food I eat, how I drive, how I relate to strangers, how I relate to my intimate partner, how I teach. And this practice has been a powerful practice for me. And a dear friend shared with me 26 years, maybe it's going on 26 years ago, Jermaine, that since this practice works so well for me, especially in navigating trauma, that I had to share it with other people. That I think she says something to the effect that it would be a sin for me to not share it with others. So she was right. And I'm delighted to say that 4 years ago, I opened up a school so that I could certify yoga teachers in this philosophy that I practice in the AntiRacist Raja Yoga tradition at the 200-hour level so that I can get to spend more time with people. I saw in the anti-racist community that oftentimes, which I've been involved in for 6 years now, and I saw that we would do 2.5-day workshops, and it would leave people hanging. Folks would follow up, phone, text, email, but we needed more time. We needed more time to process how these systems of oppression impact us and how we are complicit with all these systems of oppression, even with our best intention. So in creating the Anti-Racist Raja Yoga 200-hour training, I brought the anti-racist framework and the Raja Yoga framework together, which is grounded in love, unconditional love, and community building. And us as individuals accessing our individual power and our collective power, therefore attaining collective liberation through all us being our most powerful selves. So I'm on my 4th flight right now of anti-racist Raja yogis. I've graduated 62 yogis, and they're all doing their thing out in the world. We still stay connected through Facebook, and I'll share that information with you all at the end of the session. But the whole crux of it is us coming together, being able to come together. And so not allowing even this time of us socially distancing from each other to get in the way or to be a barrier of us community building. So I'm excited to share some of this practice with you all today, and to go a little deeper into the practice. So let's see. Moving into our Museum of Feelings, every workshop, every class, well, maybe I won't say every class. I really want folks to do a check-in. So a noticing practice, a noticing how we're feeling. So how are you feeling physically? How are you feeling emotionally? How's your soul feeling? How are you feeling spiritually? So just an opportunity to drop in and to be still. In order to drop in and to notice, it requires us to be still and a sense of quiet. So just a noticing practice here, noticing how are you feeling? So a noticing. And so now we want you to share in community, in the chat. How are you feeling? Again, in your physical body, your emotional body. If there's feelings that you're feeling that's not on, my YogaRoots on Location Museum of Feelings, please share how you're feeling. We really want to hear from you. So noticing how we're feeling. Let's see. So I put mine in the note. Let's see. Feeling fatigue, tense. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Tense and embarrassed. Okay. Holding space for you. Yes. Anxious. Thank you for sharing. I'm feeling energized and ready. Good morning. I'm feeling appreciative. Yes. Yeah, please share. And taking your time and sharing too, right? Mhm. Yes. So holding however you're feeling, expressed or not expressed, so you're still feeling. So honoring that that's how you're feeling right here, right now. Holding space for yourself. Notice in your body how you're feeling right now. And notice if there's any tension. And so give yourself permission to switch your seat or to move around, get a sip of water, do whatever you need to do. Thank you. Good morning. Feeling calm, tired, and expectant. Thank you. So give yourself opportunity to just feel what you're feeling in your body and move around. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself a little bit more comfortable in our physical body right now. And so as we start our session, we want to acknowledge how we're feeling in our physical bodies and noticing where we are in space, which is called proprioception. So a noticing where our body is in space, a knowing where our body is in space. And so knowing that most of our bodies are here in America, we want to acknowledge the land that we're sitting on, we're standing on, we're living on. And we want to acknowledge the indigenous cultures and indigenous peoples whose land was stolen. And we want to feel that. We want to feel they're our ancestors and they're all of our ancestors. So we want to feel that and notice how that feels in our body. And so we also want to acknowledge all of our ancestors. So yoga is very much about acknowledging harm and joy, pain and pleasure, being able to hold space for all with equanimity, so an evenness. So being able to hold space that we are on this land, this stolen land, and we are benefiting from it. So holding that in our bodies, feeling that in our bodies, and on purpose, breathing any way you wish to breathe. In yoga, there are no wrong ways of breathing in my practice. So feeling us be in this space and honor this space. And so we'll honor this space with a couple of moments of silence. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale fully and completely. Deep breath out. Pause. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale fully and completely. Deep breath out. Pause. Inhale. Exhale fully and completely. Deep breath out. Pause. Continue breathing at your own pace. And again, resituate yourselves. Get comfortable. Also, with this Museum of Feelings, I really would like for you to take in this embodied practice that we're practicing now throughout the day and throughout the gathering. So just drop in and notice how you're feeling at your own prompting, right? Just checking in with yourself. And so when we have vulnerable conversation, as we're going to have today, oftentimes I believe that if we make plans and we don't make them public or we don't say them to someone, it doesn't hold us as accountable, just saying it to ourselves. So I'm very much an interpersonal intelligence in terms of being with people and creating space, creating vulnerable space, spaces of sanctuary, so that we can have difficult conversations and still stay in community and still stay in an unconditional, loving community. So these community agreements have been informed from many organizations that I have worked with. And there's a few of them that I've brought into the space just because it's important to me and my work. But the first time I heard community agreements came from the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, the Undoing Racism workshop. And with me having a Raja Yoga practice, it was beautiful in terms of bringing the agreements together with my Raja Yoga practice to make them more holistic. And it's just my understanding of how I show up for myself as well as showing up for you all, for my fellow human beings. And in fact, these community agreements form the basis of Martin and I, my husband, our vows, because they're that powerful. Actually, I could probably teach a 200-hour course just on the community agreements because they're so powerful, and how to hold each other to this standard of being together, which humanizes and is so much more focused in us treating each other humanely, really respectfully. So these community agreements are really a powerful tool. They're simple, as is most truths are very simple. And as Habib had shared, he felt as though they were very universal. And thank you, Habib, for noticing that. I am proud to hold myself accountable to myself as well as the community through these agreements. And so I want you all to feel some of this. And I want you to notice as we go through them, which community agreements resonate with you. What do you want to bring into a conversation so that you could share with someone which community agreements may not suit you, right? May not be your cup of tea. And what maybe you are struggling with. And just really sit with and notice what's coming up for you. Also, what community agreements would you have ease with? Because when we're having vulnerable conversations, we need some standard of being with each other. Something to say, well, now it seems as though we're in violation of what we agreed to. And I challenge all of you, please take these community agreements and tweak them, make them your own. Honor your process, your processing of them. So the first one is bring your healthiest self to our collaborative space. So making sure you get in the bed early, so that you are rested, making sure that you have water, so you're hydrated. Bringing an openness of your soul and your spirit to receive. Bringing a vulnerability so that you're able to have authentic connection. So bringing our healthiest self. The open heart, open mind for me is what I've asked folks to bring to the yoga spaces. There's no other requirement for my yoga teacher trainings or for a workshop for me in terms of a yoga workshop. Like, you don't have to be super flexible in the physical body, but I need you to bring an openness of your heart and your mind. So for me, that's my healthiest self. And honoring your needs is speaking to the healthiest self as well. So making sure that you go to the bathroom when you first feel the urge. Someone from yesterday had appreciated me bringing that into the space. Like, yes, we talk about food. We talk eating good food, nutritious food. Also eat food that's not as nutritious, guilt-free, no guilt. Eat the chocolate cake, enjoy it. Watch our portion sizes. If we don't, forgive ourselves. Keep it moving. So honoring your needs. Honoring your needs. Listen for understanding. So when you're speaking with your partner or your small group, listening for understanding, not to respond. Just be all right with not agreeing and just sitting with that, or agreeing and sitting with that and being more quiet. So really listen to understand and get to know that person. Also translating meaning. Excuse me. I got some ginger smoothie here that's bomb. So translating meaning. So if someone says something that you're not sure of, ask them. Ask them. And that also goes with check for literacy. So notice if someone's mentioning something that you are an acronym like YROL, YogaRoots on Location. Ask them, what do you mean? What does that stand for? In our culture, we fake oftentimes that we know what someone's talking about because we think us asking them for clarification shows that we're ignorant. That's not true. That's white supremacy culture. That's us practicing. Yes, it's all right not to know. We're not supposed to know everything. We're humans. We are spiritual beings having a human experience in this moment in time. So we can know a vast amount of what's here in the universe, because we are part of the universe, right? But speak up, ask when you're not sure what someone's talking about. Also, be honest. This is one of our precepts in Raja Yoga. So speaking your truth, recognizing that that is your understanding, your perspective. But we all have our truth. Now, how we navigate each other's truths, the community agreements speak to that, us holding space for each other. But feel powerful enough to speak your truth and practice that. So if you're not feeling as powerful, right? So just put yourself out there. Respect yourselves and others. And that's all up in here. So respecting, it goes with speaking your truth, translating meaning, asking questions, having relationships of reciprocity is what our aim is here. So not one-way relationships of reciprocity, that we're able to hold each other accountable across all of these hierarchies of power. Relationships of reciprocity, because if we don't have relationships of reciprocity, what we do is have very hierarchical relationships, and those are usually abusive. So that's the real respecting ourselves as well as respecting others, is honoring reciprocity in relationship. Practicing body autonomy is kind of easy right now because we are still sheltering in place. So not going in, I'm a hugger, not going in to hug people, right? Without asking for consent first. Also, if you notice in your small groups, your share outs, that you take up a lot of space, hold back a little. And if you notice that you're one who wants to observe and be in the background more, please we need you, that's ableist, not step forward, but make more space for yourself. We need what you have to say in the space. We do. We need to hear you. We need to experience who you are. Practice confidentiality. So what you share in your one-on-ones or your small groups, the names of who shared what stays here, but what you learn from that interaction or from this session, you take that out into the world. Struggle together. This is so important. So important. In our culture, we throw each other away. That's inhumane. We need everyone. And everyone is enough, and everyone is worthy. So even if we disagree, philosophically disagree, adamantly disagree, how about we commit to struggle through it together, to acknowledge each other's humanity, to stay in relationship as best as we can and with discernment. Because can I struggle together with someone who doesn't want to struggle with me? Absolutely not. We have to both agree to this. This is called community agreement. So we have to have agreement to struggle together and stay in relationship. Curiously engage with your growing edge. So notice, when are you uncomfortable? When do I or the people that you're with in your small group or one-on-one, when does something feel uncomfortable? And really be curious about that uncomfort or that discomfort. I'll be making words up. Absolutely. So that growing edge, no one grows staying comfortable, you know. So it's really important that we honor the us being uncomfortable and just notice ourselves. And that goes into the next, recognizing comfort versus safety. So oftentimes when we're together, folks will bring up that they don't feel safe because of the conversation that we're having, like, talking about internalized racial inferiority or superiority. And it's like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. And so those two oftentimes are used interchangeably, but you are safe. You are physically, emotionally safe. You're uncomfortable because it's challenging the foundation of what we were taught, the way we were acculturated, our learnings. So recognizing when you're uncomfortable because it's something that is challenging to your present understanding, but that you are safe. We ask you to stay present the whole time. So oftentimes in having vulnerable conversation, folks want to check out emotionally. So they may still physically be in the space, but emotionally they checked out, right? So just acknowledging that we want you to stay present and speak from your own experience. So don't speak on behalf of other people, but speak. So for me as a Black woman, I can't speak for all Black women. I can speak from Felicia's perspective and my experience. And also when we notice that we've caused harm, and someone says, "Oh, that hurt my feelings," hold space for the harm, even if we intellectually don't understand what we've done. Holding space oftentimes means just being quiet, saying, "I'm sorry," from as sincere place as you can muster. Sorry shouldn't be predicated on me understanding how I harmed you and then asking, can we touch base later? Or when can we touch base so that I can further understand how I harmed you so I don't re-harm you, I don't re-traumatize you. So acknowledging the offense, holding space, asking the person how do they wish to proceed, and not forcing myself on them or not forcing yourself on them to understand. I want to understand right now. No, no, that's more violence. That's more harm. And in all of this, we need to honor the process. So honoring the process speaks to, we're drilling down deep. And in our study of yoga, we're drilling down deep into the lower chakras. So the chakras are the energy centers and the 7 major chakras that align on our spinal column, from the tip of our tailbone to the top of our head. And the lower chakras, Muladhara, the root chakra, speaks to the foundation, our security. And in having these vulnerable conversations about historical violence of oppression, it literally rocks our tailbone. It shakes up those root chakra, those lower chakras, because it's the foundation that a lot of us have built our identity, a livelihood on, belief system, our value system on. And so this is going to take a lot to unlearn, undo, in terms of undo oppression within our bodies and minds, our souls, our spiritual bodies, as well as a community. So please be patient with the process, honor in the process of what we're going through today. So this is the moment that I really want you to spend time with each other and noticing what community agreements speak to you, which don't speak to you. Write those down, jot those down in your journal or on your phone. What community agreements really resonate with you and what don't? And just have vulnerable conversation with your group. And I wanted to have you all one-on-one, but that may not be able to happen. So whatever group you end up with, small group, honor the process. We'll give 10 minutes for you to have time with each other. So at this point, really want for us to reduce our session into our breakout rooms, and you have 10 minutes. So again, honoring the process, understanding, be patient with our process here. Whatever room you end up in, whatever configuration, really honoring that process and share. And then we'll come back and report back. So 10 minutes from now. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Courtney, for sharing. You ended up solo and practice staying present, honored your need for stillness. Awesome. That's it. This is it. This is it. That's it. Yes. I personally practice staying present. So even though I'm the facilitator, staying present with what I was feeling, what I noticed you all were saying, so just fully staying present. Notice what the back end folks are helping, in terms of Brandon and the White Glove team, so just staying present. And also humor. For me, humor is so important. We don't have that as one of the community agreements. We need to add that. Humor. Being able to laugh is so liberating for me. When there's missteps or I say something that's a mistake, being able to laugh is part of my practice to keep me grounded and rooted. So we have 10 more minutes together, and I really want us to practice, have a physical practice today. Again, so come into your shoulders and just moving your shoulders any way you wish, right? Moving your shoulders. And then opposite. Move your shoulders opposite so you can rotate them forward, take them back, really coming into your shoulders and bringing your shoulders up toward your ears and then down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale and up. Exhale, shoulders down. Slowly bring our hands, our arms up, any amount, and then slowly bring them down. We're synchronizing our breath with our movement. Inhale, arms up, any amount. Exhale, arms, hands down. Inhale and up, looking up, any amount. Exhale, arms, hands, chin coming down. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. Again, inhale and up. Any amount, exhale and down. Then slowly rest your hands on your lap. Jawbones are parallel to the floor below us. And we're going to have time for a seated universal meditation time. So here, really important for us to have stillness time. Yes, as Courtney has already practiced. So we're practicing in community this time, on purpose, together. So bringing our backs upright, comfortable in our hips and our knees, our feet. You can rest your left hand in your right, thumbs together, jawbones parallel to the floor below us. Your eyes can either be open or closed. It's up to you. Honoring yourself. If your eyes are open, your horizon is straight ahead and you're going to look down 45 degrees from your horizon. Just your gaze. Even if we have an itch, we're not going to scratch it. It usually goes away. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully and completely.